I have an urgent announcement to make. This Tuesday, November 3rd, is the beginning of our 4-part live webinar called Talkin' Shit, The History of African American Culture, co-taught by me and Kamasi Hill, who has made a very notable appearance on Unregistered, and who also holds a PhD in African American religion and culture. What we're going to do over 4 weeks, 4 Tuesdays in November, is discuss African American history from completely different angles than you'll find in regular colleges. We will discuss taboo subjects like why slaves invented a culture that was envied and emulated by whites. Why did abolitionists seek not only the end of slavery, but the end of black culture? Why was Martin Luther King puritanical and talked to black people the way that the Ku Klux Klan might? Go to renegadeuniversity.com, go to the video courses section, and sign up for this amazing webinar. I hope to see you soon. This is the Unregistered podcast, and I'm Thaddeus Russell. This is a show about ideas, people, and behaviors that are considered inappropriate, out of bounds, or beyond the pale. The things you're not supposed to talk about if you're a school teacher, a college professor, a businessman, a politician, a parent, a neighbor, or even a podcast host. These are the things you're not supposed to say or even think if you're a good liberal, a good conservative, or a good citizen. Each week, I'll interview a person who has something bad to say. They might be a journalist or a professor. They might be a porn star or a drug dealer. They might just be an ordinary person with an ordinary job who doesn't care about the rules of polite society. I'm not interested in breaking the rules just to be a troublemaker. I'm interested in people who break the rules of conventional thought and to expand the scope of what is possible to say in our society. I'm interested in people who make me think. We have heard for years that Chicago is the murder capital of America, that black men are killing each other all the time there, that gangs run the streets, and that children are often caught in the crossfire. We've also heard about the famous or infamous 1994 crime bill authored by Joe Biden. But we almost never hear from people who actually live in places like the South Side of Chicago, who have experienced gang life, and who have been affected profoundly by the Biden crime bill. But right now, you are going to hear from someone exactly like that. Someone who is both a perpetrator and a victim. This is my interview with Coulee Bravo. I am joined from Atlanta, right? You in Atlanta? With yeah, but originally from Chicago, which we'll mostly talk about. Coulee Bravo, who is known for a few things. He's known in Chicago as a legendary local rapper, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And you've got 2 albums or 2 EPs, I guess. What would you call
I
them?
got 2 solo albums. I got like 10 albums, but my base is my solo album. So
yeah. And you got, so one is 20 Minutes in Chicago, and then the more recent one is 45, which was in 2018, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I've been gone for that long. Damn.
Yeah. So
and,
first of all,
before we get into it, if anybody's watching this, think I'm a Trump supporter.
Oh no.
Shut up. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I despise Joe Biden. Everybody thinks because I don't like fucking Joe Biden that I support Trump. And I actually think Trump is a better president, but we're not going to get into that unless he wants to. But
yeah, we are.
Fuck Biden. I just want to say that. And Kamala. Fuck the cops.
Oh, well, forget it, man. We're going to cancel this interview because I love Joe Biden. I love the crime bill. I love that he locked up 1 million black people. No, I think he's a great president. And then Kamala, who doesn't love a good prosecutor, right?
Man, that shit is crazy to me.
We agree. Now, don't worry. Most Most of this audience is going to be on your side on that one. Don't worry. And especially, there's nothing you can say about Joe Biden that'll hurt my feelings. But let's talk about music right off the bat. All right, let's do that first, because you're a rapper. So yeah, let me tell you something really, really important. Well, actually, first of all, let me say how this happened. I'm friends with Hotep Jesus, and he.
That's my guy.
Yeah, no, and we're doing a seminar next week, a live webinar on African American history, believe it or not. He's going to be the student, and then my friend Kamasi Hill and I will be the teachers. But I've been studying Black history for most of my life, actually. But Hotep told me about you, and that you were going to be on the show, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but my business partner did, and he texted me and he said, "That's one smart ass gangster." So I said, we got to do this, and I watched it, and he was right.
They don't put the light on us, though. That's what it is.
Say it again.
I said they don't want to put the light on us. That's what it is.
That's correct. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that right now, because you have a lot to say that's never heard.
Yeah.
You have a lot to say that's never heard, and
a lot more.
And from your perspective, from your position in life, from where you're from, how you grew up, you have a whole lot to say that's never heard, for a lot of reasons. So we're going to spend most of this on that. But I just want to say, so then I watched the interview, and I was like, oh yeah, AJ was right. I got to interview this guy. And so that's how this came about. And I was really happy and really honored that you said yes to this. So I appreciate that. Because I did hear you say at one point, you don't fuck with white people.
I say that a lot, but people don't understand it. It's not I don't despise white people. I'm gonna tell you the three groups of people I despise.
All right.
I don't despise white people. I hate black feminists.
Mm-hmm.
I hate liberals.
Mm-hmm.
I hate conservatives. And my last one the fourth one is the one people don't like to ask me about. It's LeBron fans. I hate those four people. White people can be all four of those, but I do not dislike white people. I think a lot of people think that I'm pro-black, not anti-white. There's a difference. There's a lot of black people that are anti-white. It's just like feminism versus the patriarchy. You do not have to be pro something and be anti the other one. Like they can coexist. I do not dislike white people. One of my business partners is a white man. Mm-hmm. My best friend in fucking elementary is a fucking white boy. I don't dislike white people. I dislike the shit that a lot of white people say. I'm not against white people. I'm against stupid people. I do not like stupid people. Because I go at black people that's stupid and white people that's stupid. I go at Mexicans that are stupid. If you say some stupid shit on Twitter, I'm going to say something. So all that Coulee is, people really think I'm a conservative. People don't really come at me about disliking white people. I hear that rarely. Rarely do people think I hate white people, but the white people that think I hate white people is stupid. Because I'm like, white people are like the people I get into it with the least. I don't get into it with white people that much. I get into it with other black people that are liberals the most. Right. Liberals are the people I get into it with the most because they always think, I don't know, they always like, Coulee is a Trump supporter. And I'm like, no, I do not like either one of them. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just telling you Joe Biden is a dickhead and he has dementia and he's retarded. I know I can't say the R word on Twitter, but I'm going to say it on here. Joe Biden is retarded and a liar. All politicians are liars. But the shit that Hillary and Joe Biden have did the last, 4 or 5 years, it should offend you. I don't understand how the era of people that are offended by everything are not offended by Kamala and Joe Biden and Hillary. And they just happen to be fucking liberals. It's not white people, it's fucking liberals. Y'all say stupid shit. So it's like, I'm going to say something.
Yeah, so I want to break all that down. But again, I want to go back to your music, man. Stop trying to avoid the conversation about your music. Let me tell you something.
Oh, do that. I'm glad you're interested.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll tell you why. So, like, I'm a white boy. So guess what? Who buys the most rap records, right? White boys.
That's a good point. That is a good point. White people are my biggest supporters. That's actually strange to me because of what I talk about. I don't understand why white people like me sometimes.
Because which
is my point about.
because
Yeah,
we want to be you in part. I mean, we think we want to be you.
Yeah, I think it's actually funny because white people are my favorite people when it comes to me releasing music. This white guy from Boston, I forget his name. Sorry if I forgot your name, but I asked, why do white people like my music so much? And because the content about the streets. Now, a lot of people that listen to my music are not from the streets. So I say, is that the attraction? And I remember a white boy. I don't remember his name, but he's from Boston, and he told me that it's because you're speaking about something that we'll never get to experience, and you make it sound cool. And I said that's appealing because to me, I don't actually like things I can't relate to. So for somebody to not be from where I'm from and to appreciate the music, it spoke to me, and I said, it made me explore other music. And I said, wait a minute, you don't, because your only point of reference is your life.
Right.
So I didn't understand how a white boy from Boston who's from the suburbs could like my music. And he broke it down to me perfectly. He said, when y'all listen to you, it sounds like you're taking me through a place that I would like to see but would never go. That's what he said.
Yep.
And I said, oh, it makes sense. So it's like a movie to him. I said, okay, now I get it. I understand. I actually understood it when he liked it because a white person never explained it to me until then. And I hate I forgot his name because he's actually one of my favorite followers, but I don't know his fucking name.
Well, yes, I think that's all true. It is kind of a movie for a lot of white people, but it's also just the magic of the music. So hip hop has been the most popular music for the last 30 years worldwide. So there's something that's like,
unites us.
What's that?
It unites us.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something about the beats and the music itself, the sampling and all of it that we've always loved, it moves the body, I think.
Yeah, it's an art. I think everybody hate to cut you. I don't mean to cut you off. Keep cutting you off.
Right.
But a lot of people don't realize it's artistry. Rap is an art, and Black people are very good at it without knowing. We actually very good at explaining shit. I think that's the attraction to it. Because you can't. I think my I'm gonna just speak to me. My best attribute is not the lyricism. I can rap my ass off, but it's not the lyricism. It's not the punchlines. I think it's the authenticity. Because I say stuff in my raps that people actually saw me do. I think that's what made me popular. I think the authenticity of what I'm saying is the attraction. So when the white boy broke it down to me, I understood it.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's also, but again, the music. I mean, I think the content sets you apart. But so let me tell you this: my son is also a white boy who wants to be Black, and so he listens to hip hop. But of course, he's 18, so guess what kind of hip hop he listens to? Trap music, and I hate trap music. Because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right, in the golden age. So. Right. I just compared to 90s hip hop, I don't understand what's going on with you young people. But so when I heard that your music was trap music, I almost didn't listen to it. Because I heard it was trap music. But I gotta say, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, I swear to God, I was listening to 45 just now, your last album. First 3 tracks were complete fire.
Thank you.
Fire. Like for me, for like an old head type who loves 90s style. I mean, I think you actually one of the reasons you cross over is that I think your music crosses over a little bit from trap to like old school 90s style.
I call it my own genre of music. It's corny, but I call it shock trap. I say shit you're not supposed to say, but I do it over beats that's from this generation. Because if I really, I could go all the way new school, like, because it's like, I remember I listened to a song from J. Cole. I don't like J. Cole, but I think I'm in that lane, but a lower lane, because I can rap, but I do it over the beats that are from this generation. But I'm not an old head or a new nigga.
Right.
I'm right in between. It's the middle. It's the middle. It's between boom bap and the trap shit.
Yep.
I'm right there, so
Yep.
I'm able to hit a lot of audiences without like catering to either one.
Yeah, everybody should go listen to this single to start off with Back, and then Back number 2. The two top tracks in the out. Man, if you're my age or anywhere near my age, which is 55, I mean, I think you actually will like this, like Coolee's music, and I mean this. But all right, let's get into politics, because you're a very political dude, and actually, in some ways, you're at least as famous for your politics and your presence on Twitter. Are you ready for the holiday season? I mean, really ready. Are you ready for those long political discussions you're going to be forced to get into at the Thanksgiving dinner table? I am never ready for that. What I used to do is just drink myself into oblivion and get into these massive heated arguments that made Thanksgiving no fun at all. So I stopped drinking and I started using CBD instead. And now Thanksgiving is much more fun for me and all the people around me, I'm sure. Now, if you're like me, you've either bought CBD in the past or you're going to buy it in the future. And if you're going to do that, get it from a company whose cause you endorse and, most importantly, is going to give you the best deal. And that company is Paloma Verde CBD. Based out of San Antonio, Texas, owned and operated by the married couple Vanessa and Carlos Abelar, they have gone through hell and back to make this a success, and they have made it a success, largely, I'm so proud to say, because of us, unregistered listeners. So, Carlos and Vanessa, get this story. They had a beautiful brick and mortar store all set up and ready to go last spring. Then the government decided to shut down the entire economy, including their store, and so they couldn't make a dollar on it. It was a huge waste of time and money. And for a minute there, they thought they couldn't make this work at all. So they decided to go online. To do that, though, they still needed a loan from the banks. They went to the banks, and the bank said, no loans for you because you're a marijuana-related business. Which is ridiculous because, of course, cannabis is legal in most of the United States, and Paloma Verde CBD products, like all CBD products pretty much, contain no THC whatsoever. You can't get high no matter how much you take of it. So they went online, and fortunately, they reached out to me to get the word out, and I was so happy to do that. And unregistered listeners have made Paloma Verde thrive ever since then. We are their #1 customers. That's because Carlos and Vanessa give us 25% off every single product in the store. On top of that, if you join their mailing list, you get another 10% off. So your first order is likely to be 35% off. It's hard to beat that. Then also, Carlos and Vanessa created what's called the Unregistered Combo Pack, which is just my 3 favorite Paloma Verde products. And those are their gummies, which are 10 milligrams per gummy. These are just delicious candy that make you feel better too. I eat them like crazy. I go through like one of these a week, pretty much. Carlos is constantly re-upping me. They're soft gels. This is the medicine right here. 25 milligrams per soft gel. I use 2, 3, 4, 5. Boy, when it comes down to November, whatever it is, 23rd, whenever Thanksgiving is, that's going to be, I'm going to be leaning heavily on this, I'll tell you that. But my favorite thing is their tincture. And if you need fast-acting relief from that asshole uncle who's yelling at you about Trump, put some drops of this under your tongue, and pretty soon he will be less of an issue. So go to palomaverdestore.com, use the discount code RENEGADE, make your life better, make yourself feel better, and I thank you for that. Let's talk about your history on Twitter. You're like one of the oldest people on Twitter. You started on Twitter like way before I did, and I'm way older than you.
Oh yeah. Well, that goes back to music. I didn't expect to be one of the speakers of Black people, but it happened because, and I spoke to this earlier, I said Soulja Boy, who was a trash rapper, is actually one of the most important and legendary rappers of all time because I only got on the internet because of him. The first thing I ever seen on YouTube was Soulja Boy. The first person I ever heard talk about Twitter was Soulja Boy. But I had a Twitter in 2007. I was 18 in 2007.
Wow.
And 2007 was a different time in Twitter. It wasn't as PC as it is now. it was just famous people and me and a whole bunch of conservatives. That's what Twitter was in 2007. I think that's why I actually was cool with a lot of famous people. Because I used to tweet Joe Budden all the time. People really thought me and Joe Budden were friends. I never knew him. I don't know Joe Budden, but he tweeted me so much back then that people thought we was friends. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was on there back then, and I watched the app turn from like it was actually very fucking wide open. You could say whatever you wanted to say. Then it came, I think around 2013. I'm 24 at this time, still young, and I'm watching this shit turn into a shit show of liberals saying stupid shit. This is when I became like the voice of the voiceless and shit. Because it was at one point I had 100,000 followers. And I told Hotep the same thing. The reason they took my account is because I was telling liberals, shut the fuck up. That's not how black people think. You're actually the minority. You're the minority inside of the minority. Mm-hmm. No black people think like that.
Thank you.
If you have your own mind and you are a critical thinker, I've been telling people for the longest, Democrats don't mean us well at all, just like Republicans don't. If y'all hate Republicans, why do y'all? Democrats are the same. Y'all want us. You're telling me, a black man who can't vote because of the crime bill, because of some shit I did. It's actually funny because in 2007, that's when I caught my first fucking felony. No, 2006. 2006, a year before I got on Twitter. I was actually tweeting from prison. People don't know that. The reason I can't vote to date at 31 years old is because of the crime bill.
Yep.
So I don't understand why are you telling people, black people, you can't tell. First of all, if you're a white person, your only point of reference, like I always say, is being white. That's not a bad thing. But at the same time, you cannot tell black people to do what you want them to do for your best interest. Everybody has to do what's in their best interest. If you're a Trump supporter, go fucking vote for Trump. If he says something you like, vote for him. But Biden, black people should not like Biden. If you listen to what Biden says, how do you like him? I'm going to give you, I want to break down his tax plan too. Biden, people are on Twitter, black people mainly. This is what pisses me off. It's black people mainly, my demographic, who are telling other black people and going viral too. Mm-hmm. They're telling black people, oh, you don't make $400,000, so it won't affect you. Yes, it will. Whenever a president fucks with the wealthy, it will always trickle down to the person who is impoverished, who is disenfranchised, even white people too. It's not just black people. It will affect us across the fucking board. Just like tax plan, if you repeal Trump's tax plan and insert Biden's, because that's what Biden wants to do. He wants to repeal Trump shit and insert his, and he's going to have to pass it through the House anyway. So I don't know if they're going to do it. But if you repeal that and insert his bullshit, you're going to get less money back on your income tax. Now, if you are a person who doesn't make a lot of money, you need all your income tax back. So why do you want people to vote for Biden? Trump is actually protecting you. He's protecting tax return. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I paid the most taxes I ever paid under Trump. Yes, because when you fuck with taxes, there's a period called temp relief. When people fuck with taxes and it drops and it's like, okay, everything is cool. By 2030, the shit that Biden is doing is going to fuck you. It's going to fuck you if you don't make, because the people that make a lot of money don't care anyway. Right. They don't care. They're going to, you could take $2 million from fucking Jeff Bezos. It's not going to matter to him. You can't afford that. There's going to be a 2% drop on the tax income returns. And people are saying, it's not going to affect you if you don't make $400,000. Yes, it is. It just like when Trump put that shit in place when he got elected, it dropped everything across the board. So what do you think is going to happen in reverse? If it dropped everything across the board, because the tax cuts was not for us, it was for rich people. All the tax cuts are for rich people. The tax cuts for rich people that Trump inserted, it dropped our shit too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it in reverse, what Biden want to do, guess what it's going to do? It's going to rise it. It's going to affect. You can never fuck with taxes and not affect everybody else. Because guess what? When you do taxes on these motherfuckers and they can't afford, payrolls are going to be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Wages have always been manipulated. Under every president, wages have been manipulated since the beginning of fucking time. Wage manipulation is the reason they can't do shit with our money. Our dollar has actually dropped. Our dollar is not worth shit now. If you look at the American dollar, it's really not worth shit. It's really just because all the shit here, all the entertainment and all the bullshit is here. Right. That's really what's keeping us afloat. Because look, I told Hotep same shit. Look at your imports. Look at all the shit you wearing right now.
Yep. Look
at all your shit. When you connect the dots, there's gonna be a problem down the line. It might not happen immediately, but it's gonna happen. And I tell people all the time, I hate that I have to say this to black people because I'm black. And this is not even a conversation I should have with you because you're a white man. But black people, I hate to say this about my people, but I love black people. Black people don't know shit about politics. Read a fucking book, Goody's motherfuckers tax plans, because you look stupid. Every time I just told a girl the other day, I say, do you not know how taxes work? If they fuck with the wealthy, guess what the wealthy gonna do? The wealthy are gonna fuck with us.
Yep.
They're gonna fuck with us. Payroll is gonna be manipulated. Everything is going.
Well, the minimum wage was the minimum wage, right? It's been argued that was a racist policy because it kept young black men out of entry-level jobs. Mm-hmm. So you think black people are the only ones ignorant about politics? You're wrong about that. White people are phenomenally ignorant.
Yeah, they are too. But I think one thing white people have over black people, white people vote in their best interest, I think. From my perspective, I'm not white, so I can't speak to y'all's experience. I think white people actually vote in the best interest.
Yes.
We have leaders who don't mean us any well. They don't mean us no type of fucking, even our black leaders. I don't know why people love Obama so much. Obama was trash to me. What did he do besides let gay people get married? Nobody actually fucking cared. I never cared if you was gay. You can fuck who you want to. I don't care. But there was nothing specifically in place for black people. They just bring up shit that trickled down to black people. It's like, okay, so what? But I remember they asked Obama, will he ever give reparations? Now, the reparations argument is what makes me mad because there are black people on Twitter who say, oh, Obama would have gave us reparations. No, he wouldn't. Before he got elected, he told y'all that he would never do something specifically for black people. He said that out of his own mouth.
That's right.
So I asked him, I said, how did you tweet this knowing his history? Because you don't know his history. That's what it is. You don't know shit. You're just saying that because he's black. Just because you a black leader does not mean you mean us well. Everybody that's black is not good for you. And that's where my disconnect is with a lot of liberals. You think because somebody is black that they are the best candidate. No, they're not. Because they're doing the same shit with Kamala right now. This is a prosecutor who denied evidence to fucking death row inmates. They're about to die by the hands of the state, and she denied evidence. Is that a black person that you want in office? You want that in office? How can you say defund the fucking police and at the same time elect Kamala and Joe Biden? The 94 crime bill writer and the biggest prosecutor from California. How? That doesn't make sense. It's counterproductive to what you're saying.
Yep, completely.
And it makes me mad because I'm not a college dude. I'm not, I tell Hotep the same shit. Like I'm gonna tell you, I barely graduated high school. But I'm self-educated. I know shit because I read shit. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, as they say.
That's why you're free.
Right. You got to be a free thinker. This is why I was mad. This is why when they got mad at Ice Cube and Kanye, that I didn't understand it.
Same thing.
You cannot get anything done if you do not meet with the bosses. You have to sit with Trump because he's the sitting president. What did Ice Cube do wrong? He did nothing wrong. Ice Cube has been fuck the power since before I was born. Back in the fucking 86, 3 years before I was born, he was talking his fuck the police shit, fuck the feds. He's been like that. This didn't just happen. This is not random. He sat down with him to present a plan. And the thing that pisses me off, nobody talks about how he presented plans to the Dems and the fucking conservatives.
Yep.
He presented it to the conservatives and the fucking liberals. I mean, not conservatives because that's the same thing. The fucking Republicans and Democrats. He presented it to both of them.
Yep.
Only one picked it up. And that's why I said, doesn't that tell y'all something about the Democrats? They said, fuck the plan.
Yep.
Trump is the one who sat down. Now, it was a bitch move on part to just pick that up to make it seem like Cube sided with them because they use us black celebrities as pawns. He picked them up just to say, oh, Cube is with us. But I know better. I know better than that. They did the same shit with Kanye. I don't even like Kanye's music. I like Cube, so I might be biased for Cube. But we can use Kanye as an example too. I don't like Kanye's music. I'm not a fan of him. I don't care about nothing he did, but he actually did. He was trying to do what Cube was doing. He went and sat down. Now, I will say the hat was some bullshit. He could have left the hat out. That's why I understood the anger. Because the hat is bullshit. Take the fucking hat off. That's all he had to do. But if he would have just said, I'm going to sit down with Trump, you had no reason to be mad at him. You have to go sit down. If you want something done specifically for your group, who better than to go sit down with the fucking president that runs everything? So you have to go sit. Now, Kanye went about the wrong way. Kanye he's a dickhead. But I understand it. I get it. But when Cube did it, I said, I don't understand how y'all mad at this. It was black people. You're black telling people Cube is a coon. This is the man who used to walk around with the fucking Nation of Islam. How was he a coon? He's not a coon.
No.
He's just trying to, you have to do it your way. And it's an interview I want you to watch. If you haven't seen it, Dr. Umar sat with Nick Cannon and told people, if I want something done, I'm going to go sit down with Trump. Dr. Umar should be one of our leaders, but he's not. Because you know what? The black community is not a patriarchy. The black community is a matriarchy. Look at all our leaders. Our leaders are all women. Yep. They don't put us, because you know what happens when a black man rises to power? He dies.
Yep.
Darren Sills, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X.
He gets killed.
Black man who fucking rises up and gets people attention dies. I feel like they're going to come after me next because I've been going at black feminists for the last 5 years and I will never stop. I will never stop because it's bullshit. Just because you black does not mean you mean us well. And I will always stand on that.
Very smart, man. I like that. So let me tell you what it's all about. You want to know what it's all about? It's all about college. And I know that you didn't go to college, but your little brothers did. And I also know, and this is the important thing, this is kind of what you're mad about. The leaders of Black Lives Matter, they replaced the old minister leadership, right? It used to be like Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. Before that, it was King and Company, right? So it used to be all preachers.
Yep. And
then with Ferguson and Black Lives Matter, it became all these young people who were all of them went to elite colleges. And they all speak the language that's spoken only, until now, only in colleges. And that's what I think pisses you off the most. All the stuff about gender they talk about, all the stuff about LGBT politics, all the stuff about trans politics, just the way they speak about Marxism, about liberalism, about progressivism, about Joe Biden, it all comes from college campuses. And because you didn't go there, you never got indoctrinated. They wouldn't have let you graduate, basically, I don't think. If you didn't toe the line at some, you wouldn't have gotten in.
Yeah, I used to challenge that. Even when I was in high school, I used to challenge. My favorite subject is history. And I tell people this all the time. Nobody would ever guess that if they just talked to me or looked at me because you don't know me. My favorite subject is history. This is why I go so hard about Malcolm.
Good choice. History. That's me.
I was never good. I was never a good. Basically, you couldn't call me a scholar. I'll admit that. I wasn't a scholar, but there are certain subjects that I will beat your ass on. Nobody can ever debate me in history. You know why? Because I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. And in history class, I would challenge everything. When they said Columbus discovered America, I was 15, 16 years old. Like, hey, that's not right. These books are wrong. This is where the educated motherfuckers don't want to let me in. Mm-hmm. And I would get into it with my fucking teachers. And they would be like, what do you mean it's wrong? I said, that's not correct. He did not discover America. If the natives were here, how did he discover any fucking thing? You can't discover anything. You can't discover something that's already established. And that's what made me mad. And that's what makes me mad about these current motherfuckers.
So let's talk about Malcolm X. So pretty much every day, Coulee, I wish to God that Malcolm were still alive. Can you imagine what he would have to say about what's going on today?
I'm glad you brought that up too, because black people misquoting Malcolm burns my fucking soul. This is the dude he's instrumental in the I guess you can say radical, because he didn't believe in the bullshit. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid either. It's like I never drank the Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. I think being raised by my grandparents made me different than a lot of black people, because my grandparents were Black Panthers.
Oh, really?
Being raised by them, it instilled a lot of shit in me. But when people misquote Malcolm, it pisses me off, because it's like Malcolm didn't say certain shit. He didn't say none of the shit that these people be saying. They say he, like I said on the last podcast I was on, there are black women going around saying black men don't protect black women. That's a fucking lie. Right. It's a big ass lie. And it makes me mad because the people who are quoting Malcolm would not have liked Malcolm. They would have been calling him a hotep. They would have been calling him a misogynist, because if you really want to quote Malcolm, Malcolm also said women talk too much.
Yeah, he was a patriarch. That's
what I'm saying. I said, so you're quoting Malcolm, but you don't like patriarchy. Malcolm believed in patriarchy, because the man should be the head of everything. And that's not me being a sexist. It's just certain things women can't do that men can. Your power is not in being strong, women. I have to tell y'all that. Your power is not in being strong. It's just something you developed. You don't have to be strong. A woman's softness is their power. Like a women don't understand that femininity is a power too, but they don't like to use it.
Sure is.
They want to be like men. You cannot be like men. It's impossible. You will never be like.
Well, why do they want to be like men? It's fucking hard.
I don't know. And I said, y'all do not like patriarchy. You don't dislike patriarchy. You like patriarchy. But if you don't benefit from it, that's when you have a problem. Because if patriarchy says men pay the bills, patriarchy says men protect, patriarchy says in a disaster, get the women and kids first. All of that is patriarchy, but they like that.
Yep.
But if that happens in your life, you appreciate that. But because you never benefited from it, you say patriarchy is bad. I say it's actually not. It's actually all of it's not good, because patriarchy it trickles down and leads to some bullshit. But I don't understand black feminists, because the dynamic between white men and white women is not the same as black men and black women. That's right. Black women, the black race is the only race where the women are ahead of the men in everything.
That's right.
Dynamic does not exist nowhere else.
Way ahead.
They're way ahead. They will even tell you, if you argue with them, we're more educated than you. So why are you mad at us? Y'all have everything. Not everything. I'm not gonna say everything, because they still black and they still are oppressed.
They got a lot now, though. A lot.
They can't, but they can't come to us about it.
Right.
If you hate patriarchy so much, why are you so buddy with white women?
Uh-huh.
White women benefit from patriarchy more than black men. So how can you get on Twitter saying black men are the white people of black people? That doesn't make sense because we're not treated the same. Black men are actually the opposite of white people.
Mm-hmm.
I say this all the time. Black men get incarcerated, denied employment, and killed the most. How can we ever be like white men?
Oh, yeah.
We're not. And this is why I hate intersectionality. It allows people who are not oppressed to say stupid shit like that to us. If you're a gay white guy, that's not my problem. I don't like you liking men doesn't mean you know what it's like to be black. That's not true. That's not genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not genuine. Now, I'm not saying all white people are privileged, but as a unit, it is. Like because there's poor white people too. There's poor white people, and I understand that. But you cannot say as a white woman telling me you're a president. I said white. If you look at the wage gap argument that y'all love to bring up so much, white and Asian women make more than black men. A lot of feminist arguments do not work against black men.
Yep.
Because we have been disenfranchised the most, even more than black women. But the reason you never hear it is because as a man, you're not allowed to complain about shit.
Yeah.
When you're a man, when you're a man, you're not allowed to say how hard it is to be a man. I tell women that all the time. The reason they think being a man is easy is because white, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever race, this applies to all men. Mm-hmm. Men are not allowed to complain about how hard it is to be a man.
Correct.
You know why? Because somebody's going to tell you to man the fuck up.
Correct.
That's where the term man up comes from. We're not allowed. We're the leaders. We're supposed to bullhead whatever we're supposed to do.
That's right.
And it
sucks. And it sucks for us.
It sucks. It's trash. But that right there is patriarchy. Yeah. Patriarchy fucks us up too.
Right. Very much. Yeah.
Because it tells us that men are supposed to do every fucking thing. We bear the burden of every fucking thing.
Yeah. We go to war, we go to prison, we do the worst jobs.
Exactly. Imagine being born in fucking the 50s and then the 70s come, you fucking 19, 20, and you get drafted because you're a man. You're not ready for that.
Exactly.
Women didn't have to experience that. But they want to talk about cooking and cleaning and shit. That's regular shit.
Yep.
What the fuck are you mad at that for? I was in the army. Women never had to go fight on the battlefield.
That's right.
I was a ranger.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I actually fought. I served 3 under Bush and 1 under Obama.
Whoa.
I'm literally a veteran. And I'm telling you, our government is fucking trash. It sucks. Like, it shit is suck. And then y'all talking about patriarchy. Look at this shit that men have to do. We shouldn't have to do some of the shit we have to do. You will down the man. There are some men out there who can't provide and can't do shit.
Right.
But patriarchy tells you pull yourself up by the bootstrap. It tells you you're the man. You got to figure it out.
Yep. All right, man.
Women
listen.
are not concerned.
Yeah, no. I agree with all that, but I want to get to your life because people I think are going to be very curious right now, and there's a whole lot to say about this. You have the kind of life, certainly when you were younger, that is invisible to most of society. So, I mean, we talk about it, but like as scholars, we don't really experience it. So, you're from the South. Are you from the South Side of Chicago?
I'm actually Southeast. I'm more from the East than the South. I'm from East 71st in Chicago.
All right.
But South Side, you can still say the South Side because I'm still in the South.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the South Side. I remember driving through the South Side. I drove like the whole length of it once. And I remember like, this is the biggest ghetto I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's incredible. Like, I've never seen so many black people without any like interruption at all for like miles and miles and miles. You can drive through the South Side. But you also were a member of the Vice Lords, or are a member of the Vice Lords. Is that correct?
Yes.
Which is the second oldest gang in Chicago and the United States, I think. Was founded in the 1950s. How old it is, right?
Yep. 59. Yep.
And the main rival recently, right, has been the Gangster Disciples, the GDs. So tell me about the Vice Lords. How did you get involved with the Vice Lords?
It's actually funny. My father, my pops, he's from the West Side, which is where the Vice Lords are.
Okay.
He moved me to the South Side in the 90s. This is war zone Chicago, not the shit that they talking about now. Because the shit that's going on now is not really that bad. But that's how I got about the Vice Lords.
Crack epidemic, right? That time. Yep.
Yep, around that time. And I really just took after my uncles and all of them. But I was never there's a difference between the term gangbanger actually means it's like people who go and do stupid shit all the time. Me, I did shit like that from time to time, but that wasn't my primary goal. Primary goal of most black gangs, matter of fact, all black gangs started to protect the neighborhood.
What do you mean?
To protect it, because it started in 59, right? If you look at when it was started, you can see why they started. 1959, guess what's going on around that time?
I don't know. What?
Klux Klan running around.
Oh, okay.
Doing bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit. It's racial tension going around. And these gangs started to say, stop fucking with black people. These are the brave black people. Our ancestors who said, we're not going to allow this shit. And this is why I get mad at people who say we're not our ancestors. These people started movements for us.
Yeah.
Just like Black Panthers.
I was going to say,
Black Panthers was the same way.
Yeah, didn't a lot of Panthers come out of the Vice Lords and other Chicago gangs?
I think a lot of Black Panthers came out of Bloods and Crips over in Cali.
Okay. But what about Fred Hampton though? Didn't he have something to do with the Vice Lords or one of those gangs?
Fred Hampton. I think Fred Hampton was just involved with black people. Period. So he was around a lot of gangsters.
Yeah.
I don't think Fred Hampton was actually like on the shit they on now. It was just he knew a lot of people that was leaders and shit. It's just like Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover was a leader of the GDs, disciples. Period. A lot of these shit started because white people used to fuck with black people, and we had no protection. You know, in 1959, the police not coming to black people aid. They might, but
that's right.
The close people you had, only if you knew some Black Panthers or some disciples or Bloods or Lords, somebody, they could help you because they was the first black people. I think they was the first. Besides runaway slaves, these are the first radical black people.
Wow. Yeah.
To say, fuck that. We're not going to let you kill us. And they still was doing it, but it was, I think the Black Panthers ignited something. Black Panthers and all the gangs ignited something that made people go, we going to protect our shit because it's not fair. It got to a point they got fed up. They was fed up. That's all it was. And that's what I said. That's what it takes to change anything. All it takes is for somebody to get fed up. And that's what the Lords, GDs, BDs, Bloods, and Crips, they got fed up and said, fuck that. We're not going to let you do that.
You know, the Vice Lords were so big and so powerful and important in Chicago that they got big federal grants, and they got big grants from the Roosevelt Foundation the Rockefeller Foundation. And they were like recipients of a lot of direct federal funding from the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration, which became very controversial, right? But that was
that's actually weird.
Was that?
Yeah, it's actually that's actually weird that you brought that up because that's true. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Crazy, right?
I don't think they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of times in history where the street niggas have actually tricked the powers that be. And that's one of them.
That's right.
Black people got over on them one. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it's beautiful because they really did. And they used a lot of that money to arm themselves.
Yeah.
Arm themselves, and then they went, what the fuck? They bought guns with that shit?
That's right.
I said, well, yeah, give them the fucking money. I said, just because you white and gave us some money don't mean we don't know what's going on still. And I still to this day want to know how they pulled that. I don't know how they pulled that. That's a big finesse for the Vice Lords. That shit was incredible.
It's crazy.
That is some. That's actually dope. Like,
I know.
I don't know how to fuck they did that. That shit is crazy to me.
They
That's
got,
crazy that you know your shit, man. That's crazy.
hey, I told you I've been studying this for a long time. But Black history is never just Black history, right? It's basically race history. It's as much about Black people as it is about white people, unfortunately, right? Because as a minority, you just have to you have to interact with white people no matter what.
Yeah. White people are part of Black history.
They have to be because they're the majority.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of how like Biggie is always involved in Tupac's story.
Yeah.
Like two separate people. That's how Black people and white people are. Because it's other minorities. But the biggest beef is white and Black people.
Yeah.
Even though it's other races of motherfuckers, it's always been Black and white. And that's why I don't like the POC shit. Y'all haven't endured what we endured.
Right.
We've been full of white people since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always bring up the Biggie and Tupac analogy. Yes, it's other people that's oppressed, and y'all all fucked up, and even white people are getting fucked up because it's poor white people too. Or it's like it's not just Black and white, not to make a pun, but the biggest beef in America is between Black people and white people. Because neither one of us, I think as a whole, we don't really want to settle it. We just want what we want. We have a few stars among us, though, that want to do shit right. We have people out there like Hotep Jesus. Mm-hmm. That's my guy. I like him. You have people like me. You got people like you who study Black history. We got it's a few white people that have been down and been telling people how shit is. And like, what's that one girl, old lady name? I like her too. Damn, I forgot her name. But you know what I'm talking about. She do the eye test and shit for Black people. But I just heard she did some racist shit recently, so I'm gonna fall back on her. But Dr. Umar is another one. Mm-hmm. He don't hate white people either. People think he hate white people, but he'll say he just did a podcast and said, "I'll do business with Trump if it means me something good." And that's how you should think. You shouldn't think like I hate everybody that's white. Like, no, it's some people out there that'll fuck with you.
Yeah. So you went to prison as a juvenile, correct? But you were charged as an adult. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you were 16, am I right?
Yep, 2005.
What was the charge? What'd you do?
Conspiracy and possession with intent to distribute
drugs. So, I mean, you were like a corner boy?
No, I was, not to toot my own horn, but I was one of the not biggest drug dealers, but I was like the man in my section. Like
at 16?
If you wanted anything, you can come see me. This is 2005, and I sold mostly weed, but I got caught with fucking crack because I was not a lot of people think I could crack on the timeline one time, but that's not what I went to jail for. It was actually I had so much weed that they had to take me to jail. It was so much weed. It was like 1,000 pounds. Like it was a whole bunch, bro. And I tried. I was so stupid. I tried to lie on myself because the way to get out of drug charges is to lie on yourself. I told them I was going to smoke a whole 1,000 pounds. That didn't work. I was like, I definitely been a stupid ass teenager.
Yeah.
So they was like, oh, I'll get the fuck out of jail. Luckily, I never snitched on nobody. They had nothing on me but that. So as a teen, all you can do is send me. I thought I was going to juvie, but they sent me to fucking prison.
God damn. Which one?
It was in Montgomery, Alabama.
Wow. Federal charge.
Yep. Montgomery, Alabama. I never forget that because Alabama is so fucking racist. It's one of the most racist cities. The South is still fucking like 1800s racist for some reason.
Some of it.
They really have laws that haven't changed since then too. Like it's weird.
I also see more like racial integration in the South than I do in the North. You see, like in restaurants, you see blacks and whites sitting together. You know, you don't see that in the North. But you did 2 years in prison as a teenager?
Half. Yeah, I got out at 18.
Damn.
And I actually went to right after that. I didn't know fellas could go to the army until that.
Tell me about prison, and let's talk about the army. But tell me about what it was like to be a 16, 17-year-old in a prison, adult prison.
You know what's crazy? It wasn't bad for me because I had a reputation. It's so weird because when you go to prison, you have nothing. You stripped of all your dignity and all that shit. They make you strip butt naked and all this kind of shit. Just strip you away, put you in a uniform.
Yeah.
Basically a slave. And when I got in there, I thought it was gonna be. I watched so many movies. I thought it was gonna be like everybody getting raped every day and all kind of shit like that. It wasn't nothing like that. It was nothing like that. It was just dudes trying to do their time and hurry up and get out. Nobody ever fucked with me. I never had any of those problems. My nickname in prison was actually Store Man. For all y'all don't know Ebonics, Store Man.
Uh-huh.
I was in jail doing the same shit I did for getting life. I was selling commissary, like all like kind of chips and shit, and selling it to people at a lower. And I sold it at a lower price too. I didn't even upcharge them because we were all in prison. I was just trying to make everybody like it. Like it's weird because when you're in prison for that long, you make it your home, and you shouldn't get used to prison. But I got used to prison. I was like, I guess it's my life now.
Huh. Well, you had a lot of like order, right? And you didn't have to worry about feeding yourself. I mean, I've heard a lot of people of all colors who come from tough backgrounds who actually do prefer prison because there is that. There's 3 meals a day. There's a roof over your head. You're somewhat protected from violence, at least more so than on the south side of Chicago, right?
Yeah, if you got a reputation in prison, you pretty much good.
Oh, the reputation?
Yeah, if you got a reputation, you pretty much protected by that because people in prison know who you are before you get there.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll hear about you coming.
Right. And then you went into the army right after that?
Yep, I got out at 18, went to the army. I did I actually went AWOL from the army.
Good man.
Because I went in the army and didn't like what the fuck was going on. I literally should write a book now that I think about it. Like, this shit is crazy. I went to prison, got out. Then, because like when you get in the hood, it's different when you turn 18. I was just getting out of fucking prison at 18. So my life with 2 felonies as an 18-year-old, what the fuck am I going to do?
Damn. Right.
You're going to send me right into the world with no skills. I have no skills in work. In the workforce, I have nothing. All I'm gonna do is go back and sell drugs. And I say, you know what? They're not gonna get me. Let me go to the army. Went to the army. Worst and best shit I ever could have did.
Mm-hmm.
I like it gave me money, but the shit you gotta do is not worth it. And that's why I hate presidents. The army made me hate presidents. They made us do a lot of bullshit because if you want to be real, the president is a puppet. Every president controls nothing. Everybody is watching this. I want you to understand this. Presidents are just the chief in command. All they do is start wars or veto bills. They do nothing else. Mm-hmm. They have no power nowhere else. The Senate has more power than the president.
That's right.
They have nothing. Like, everybody think the president is going to change everything like this Biden and Trump shit y'all doing right now.
Yeah.
They don't control shit. You got to vote locally and like you have to do shit like that because they don't do nothing but veto bills and go to war.
Yep.
They can say, all the president can do is say, hey, I don't like that country. Let's go blow them the fuck up. Or I don't like this bill or I like this bill. That's all they do.
Correct.
They don't run shit. They don't do nothing. I learned that in the military. Because of what they did, I said presidents don't really do shit but send us stupid ass places. That's all they did. And a lot of people don't even know I'm an Army veteran. Nobody knows I'm an Army veteran because I don't talk about it. That's why I get mad when white people tell me you should do this and do that. I said I serve this fucking country and I can't fucking vote. How can you tell me anything? You can't tell me shit because I did some shit you're not even brave enough to do, and I can't even fucking vote. And you're a pussy, but you get the vote.
And isn't that because of Joe Biden?
Yes. The crime bill, which was written in 1994 when I was 5 years old, is the reason I can't vote right now at 31 years old, even though I served the country and did my time. Am I a citizen or not?
Right.
Am I a citizen or not? You can't do that. Like, that's why I don't understand the liberals. They keep telling us who to vote for. And I'm like, I can't vote. I can't vote because of this motherfucker that y'all want us to vote for. That makes no sense. What are you talking about? I can't vote. Even though I'm a fucking Army veteran. I did some shit for this country. Most people not willing to do. I think is it like 3% of the country is our military? I'm part of the 3% that went to fucking war. Like, you can't say that to me. But I still can't fucking vote because of this fucking dude y'all want us to vote for. That's the irony in it. You want me to vote for the dude who is the reason I can't vote. What are you talking about? It makes no sense.
It's incredible that anybody would vote for Joe Biden, but especially black people. I mean, right now we got almost 1 million.
Especially black.
Especially black. Right now we got close to 1 million black men in prison right now, and a lot of them are on the 94 crime bill.
Yeah, we are the most incarcerated demographic, and it's because they criminalize everything. I don't get it. It's like I really don't get some of the shit. Like, no black person should like Joe Biden. I'm not saying you should like Trump, but Joe Biden has a history of fucking over black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he was in the administration.
Yep.
He was in the Obama administration, and now he's on his third go round with this fucking cop Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all talking about?
Yep.
Why would anybody black want to vote for that? They look stupid. I don't care if she's the first black whatever. Like, I don't care because she's not with us. And she didn't even claim she was until recently. She claimed she was Indian American this whole time. So why the fuck is she black all of a sudden?
Because it pays to be black for a minute now, right?
Yeah, they pander to black people. As a group, we love pandering. I don't understand why y'all not mad at this shit. Y'all should be mad.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Get mad at Kamala. How are you going to say defund the police and vote for a prosecutor and the 94 crime bill writer? Right. Those are cops right there. What the fuck are you talking about? You sound stupid.
It's amazing. I'm
going to say right now and everybody going to like. Vote for Trump.
Oh, really?
Vote for Trump. I hate him too. But Joe Biden is not the lesser of two evils.
No.
Stop saying that. He is not the lesser of two evils. I don't know who told y'all that and where y'all got that from, but Trump doesn't have a history of fucking over black people. He has a history of saying bullshit and shit that will lead to the destruction of black people. But Joe Biden already has a history of fucking us over.
Yep.
So how can you vote for him? Ain't this the same man that was sitting next to Obama? If you could fix what's wrong with black people right now, why didn't he tell Obama that? You had a chance to do it right there. You didn't do it. Yep. So what the fuck are you talking about that Joe Biden is going to fix everything for black people? He's not.
I know.
Kamala gonna lock us all the fuck up. Joe Biden looked there out his own fucking mouth. He said, I'm not going to defund the police. I'm actually going to put more police out there. What the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, you said that most black people are not liberals. And you know, I've been knowing that for a long time. You don't even have to.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I said most black people should not be. They're liberals by what they say, but most black people mentality is not liberal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
but they say they liberal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they vote liberal. They vote liberal.
Yeah, they vote liberal. But I said most black people, if you step back and look at what they want, they're not liberals.
That's what I meant. Yeah, exactly. Why don't you flesh that out a little bit? What do you mean by that? I mean, I agree with you. I think, but you don't even have to look. You can just look at studies and surveys of black people. You can see that they on gay marriage, on abortion, on a bunch of stuff, they disagree strongly.
Yeah, they disagree with all the liberal shit, but they claim liberal. They're not a liberal. You're just saying that because all black leaders are mainly liberal.
And then feminism, your position on feminism, I know, is more common among African Americans.
Yeah.
than feminism is.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say this: Black feminism, period. Fuck Black feminism, white feminism. Feminism as a whole is actually stupid because the government controls everything you're mad at. Am I part of the government? No. Are most most men are not part of the government.
Mm-hmm.
So why does feminism exist? You know why? Because women just want to believe in something. You want to belong to something.
Mm-hmm.
White feminism says we want to be paid as much as white men. And it's like the wage gap only exists because the jobs that men do is none of the women in. You could take my job, for example. I'm a rapper. But my civilian job, I'm a power washer.
Mm.
Most people don't know what power washing is. If you're reading this, if you're looking at this right now, you probably don't know what a power washer is. I'm going to explain it. A power washer, I hold the hoses that they used to spray black people with and knock them off fucking feet. I hold that and drag them across skyscrapers and shit.
Right.
The hose is like this big. It's like this wide. Most women on earth cannot hold that. That's where the wage gap comes in. There's no women at my job. No women. That's where the wage gap is. Because we're doing jobs that most women not doing. And then you go to the other jobs, loggers, fucking
deep sea fishermen.
All the dangerous jobs are mainly, it's like 100% men. That's where the wage gap is. We don't make more money than y'all. We just do more dangerous jobs than y'all. That's why men's lifespan is shorter than women's.
Yeah, right.
So of course, when you add up all the money in America, it doesn't equal because we don't get the shit y'all get. Y'all get time off maternal leave and shit when you're pregnant, all that shit. We don't get that. When women get pregnant, we still gotta go to work. Like it's not the same, and that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing to not be treated like a man. You don't want to be treated like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like my job, there's no women there.
Right.
So when you look at that, when you look up power washers, yes, we're 100% men. There's nobody who can fucking say anything about the wage gap argument. You can't beat us in certain arguments because, and then when you look at the subgenre of men, it's when black men. I say, okay, if y'all hate patriarchy so much, why don't y'all say anything about white and Asian women making more than black men? Nobody brings that up. Mm-hmm. Below two groups of women. Mm-hmm. So black feminism makes no sense to me. Make no fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I said, another thing I get mad at, you can't be mad at patriarchy and direct it towards us if we didn't create it. Patriarchy has been in place since slavery. Black men were slaves just like y'all. We didn't create patriarchy. Mm-hmm. So who are you really mad at? You can't get mad at us. We in the same shit. We up Shit's Creek just like y'all is. So why are you mad at us? Makes no sense.
Yeah. You've said that Black culture is largely a matriarchy, in fact. And I've heard that argument from other people. I'm not exactly sure. I think I know what you mean by that, but can you explain that?
Yes. All our leaders are women.
Yep.
Look at all our leaders. Okay. Matter of fact, let me get the man leaders out the way first. Back in the 50s and 60s, it was men because our ancestors understood that the man led everything and we was gonna make it. We was gonna make the difference. But they killed us. They killed all of us. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X,
Fred Hampton.
Yeah, all our black men. Anytime a man rises to power and he black, they get rid of him instantly. So I guess somewhere down the line, the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, now all of our leaders are black women. We got Lisa Leftfoot in Chicago. We got fucking Stacey Abrams in Atlanta.
Yep.
We got fucking Even right now, Kamala is the fucking spokesperson for black people all of a sudden. Kamala Harris. We got fucking everybody it's always a woman. Nobody is holding black men up on a pedestal. Our strongest black man leader is Dr. Umar, and they don't even care about what he's saying. They turn him into a fucking meme or a fucking reaction video.
Right.
They turn him into a joke.
Yeah.
Because they don't the black community don't respect black men no more. You can see it on Twitter. They always talking shit about us. And I said, feminism has done a number on black women. Christianity and fucking I'm not gonna hate on nobody that is a Christian, but Christianity is the second main fucking source of bullshit, and then it's feminism.
Wow.
They brainwashed them very well. And I say, you know what? White people are very good at getting y'all to turn on your own race. And that's why I love Malcolm so much. He said, who taught you to hate your own race? You cannot be pro-black and fucking hate black men. Why are y'all talking shit to us about patriarchy when we've been wiped out? We wiped out. There's no black man. Name one black man leader right now? It's none.
There's a couple of gay ones. Right? Like DeRay.
DeRay is gay and leader of Black Lives Matter, which is a bullshit organization organized by white people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a genuine movement. They did that because they just want to give some black people something to believe. Black people, and I hate to say this, but black people believe too easy. They drink the Kool-Aid too much. Y'all have to stop believing these George Soros started fucking Black Lives Matter. It wasn't a black person. It's a Jewish dude. Like it's like every time some bullshit happens, it's always a Jewish dude behind it. And not to slander Jews. I don't hate Jews either.
I'm afraid to say, hold on. I'm afraid to say, having studied the history, you're right. Back to Martin Luther King, right? His chief advisor was Stanley Levinson, a Jewish communist. I mean, if you look at a lot of the Black Panthers, a lot of Jews they tried to enter the Black Panther movement and gave them money. They gave them a lot of money. You had like Jewish intellectuals in New York City, like holding parties and funding the Black Panthers, right? I agree. And then like Jesse Jackson, when I was like, I campaigned for him.
Jesse Jackson is a fucking coon. He's a fucking coon. I hate Jesse Jackson.
Why?
Because he was in Chicago doing a lot of bullshit. And this is the reason Jews and a lot of people think men like me are conservatives because we look at what Jews did. I don't hate Jews, but a lot of Jews did a lot of bullshit, and they go, "Oh, well, you just want to be a white man. You just want to side with the white man." And I'm like, no, because it was a lot of Jews doing bullshit. That's why they think we are racist against our own community. I said, we're not racist. I said, do you think I'm a Ku Klux Klan member or some shit? I'm not. Like, the Jews did a lot of bullshit. Behind all our black leaders, there was a Jew dude right there trying to break it down. And they did it successfully every time. Mm-hmm. So how can y'all like certain leaders that y'all liked? Mm-hmm. Look at Kamala. Kamala married to a fucking white dude. If y'all hate white people so much, why y'all like Kamala? If you hate white people, her whole family white.
Yep.
So you don't, and they tell me I hate white people. I don't hate white people. I just look at the shit they did with our leaders.
Sure.
But y'all want us to vote Kamala and Biden?
Yeah.
Ain't fucking Kamala whole family white? Like, what are you talking about? If I hated white people, I would have just brought that up. I never bring that up, though.
I hear you.
I'm just saying they're the cops.
Yes.
You want to defund the police, don't fucking vote them in there.
Yep.
But they don't know shit about that. That's why I hate to say that. I said I hate to have this conversation with a white man because it's a conversation we should have amongst ourselves. The Kamala is, she don't fight for us. That's not a black woman. Right. Like, your skin can be dark as ever. You still don't fight for black people. You don't fight for black people. It's white people out there that mean us well more than some of these motherfucking black leaders.
Oh, definitely.
We're not a patriarchy, and we don't have no black male leaders.
Well, you know about the 94 crime bill. That was a Congressional Black Caucus was pushing for that. The Black Congress people were behind that as much as Joe Biden was. It was their idea. They were pushing hard for it to put you in prison. To put you in prison. Can I want to pivot. Kind of, this is very related, but something I've been wanting to ask you. I want to talk about, and I want to see if you can just like open up about this. But you know, your life has been marked by a lot of violence, right? And you know, from what you were doing with the Vice Lords as a drug dealer in Chicago, you got what, 3 felonies? You've been to prison. The Army was a violent place, obviously. But also, you know, you've gotten into a lot of fistfights since then, right? And you've even like fought people on Twitter. You fought your trolls, is that right?
Oh yeah, I whoop my trolls' ass.
Like in person.
It's one of my trademarks.
Yeah.
I don't play none of that bullshit that people say. And people disagree with me, which I don't care about. You can disagree with me all you want, but don't say no gangster shit and then say you're gonna whoop my ass or something, because you're not. You're not gonna whoop my ass, and that's why people don't like me. I will really whoop your ass. Now I fell back off of that a lot because I have a son now.
Oh wow.
And I'm a family man. Like I don't live that life no more. I'm not in the streets no more. I live in the suburbs now. I moved out the streets to the suburbs.
Oh, good.
And I will whoop, but it's still there. I'll beat your ass. I'll fuck you up. And it's a lot of these. It makes me mad because it's always black people.
Yeah.
It's like why you feel so strongly to the point that you want to fight me? I don't get that. Like you want to fight me, and because you're going to get your ass whooped. That's all that's going to happen. It's not going to be good for you.
Well,
it's not going to be good for me either, because I'm going to go back to jail, but I'll still beat your ass.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. I'm sure you are very tough. I'm sure you're a good fighter, but you're not invincible because you're a human being. So there has to be, right. You know, you're not always going to whoop their ass because maybe they'll have a gun and you won't in that moment, right? So what I'm getting at is like, there's got to be a lot of fear in living that life since you were a kid. No?
As a kid, yes. As an adult, no. Because I think that's what separates me from a lot of people. Being from the hood makes you numb to shit.
Mm-hmm.
People get shot in the head and all kind of shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
A fist fight it don't bother me. If you agree to a fight, it's really like a freebie. I will fight you anytime, day or the week. Like anytime, day, place. Like, it don't matter to me. Fighting is not. It doesn't put any fear in my heart. Now, it is dangerous to have that mentality, but that's the mentality that separates me from the coons. I'm actually, when I say stuff about Malcolm and shit like that, I'm ready to die by that. I believe that. A lot of these dudes that be talking, they don't believe what they saying. They're just saying it for reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying shit for reaction. I really mean what I'm saying to you. I will punch you in your fucking mouth. And most of the time, it's another black person. It's never a white person. I've never got into it with a white person to the point of fought on Twitter. It's always a black person because they say stupid shit. They don't know shit. And I hate to say that about my people, but a lot of black people don't know shit. And I hate that for us. I hate that that's our reality. It's so stupid. That's why this Biden shit make me so mad. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. You dumb. You don't know nothing. You're a dickhead.
How many? So didn't you get banned from Twitter? And you had to reinvent yourself on Twitter? Why'd you get banned?
If anybody was following me that's watching this, everybody know I was You Ugly on Skype. That was my Twitter name. So that Twitter account lasted from 2007 to 2017. Wow. The reason they took my account is because I was whooping feminist ass. I was getting 20K retweets, 10K retweets every time I said something to them. Okay. And they didn't like that. They sent me, this is how I know Twitter is discriminatory towards people who are not liberals. They told me you have too much negative influence on this app. And I said, what the fuck does that mean?
Wow.
I'm not a negative dude. I just point out bullshit. It's not discriminatory at all. It can be white, black, Asian, Mexican. I go at everybody who says stupid shit about my demographic. If you say something about black men, I'm probably going to find you. And I'm going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? If you look at my Twitter right now, I have destroyed any type of argument against black men because it's stupid. You can't say certain shit to me. And when you tweet certain shit, I'm going to, because it's stupid. You're telling people, like, it's an argument on Twitter right now that black men are the white people of black people.
Right.
And I said, how? It don't make sense.
Right.
Are you sick? Even white people will tell you that's stupid. Like that don't make sense. How?
Let me tell you something about white people for a second and violence. And I think we were talking earlier about why white people like your music and like you, and why they like hip hop and rap, and especially like so-called gangster rap or authentic rap or whatever. I think it's largely because a lot of white people, white men in this country, don't have any direct experience with violence, but they have a lot of violent impulses. They want to be violent, but they don't. They can't be. They don't let themselves be. They live in a culture that really frowns on that. And I'm positive a lot of the appeal in hip hop, not just you, but with rappers in general who talk about this stuff, is that they get kind of live vicarious. Yeah, they get to live vicariously through you.
It's a vicarious thing, and I say because they're the most violent. And if you look at crime stats, black people only lead in two things, and this is why people think I'm a sociologist. If you look at the crimes that black people lead in, it makes sense. Right. Robbery and murder. Murder is not right. But if you look at where it's happening, it makes sense. Who is the poorest demographic on the planet? It's black people. Now, men are more aggressive than women. So guess who's leading in robbery and shit? It's black men.
Yeah, right.
Who are, like, when you break it down, you can understand it. But if you look at all the other crimes, it's white people. So when I look at that, I say, why do y'all harp on us so much when our crimes are circumstantial?
Right.
It's circumstantial. And like, you look at all the other crimes, 75% of convicted child molesters are white.
Oh, yeah?
Nobody says anything about that. Nobody talks about the pedophilia and rape among white men. And they don't have to. You don't have to. Like, if you want to talk about it, that's on you. But do not single black men out for 2 crimes. There's like 30 crimes that's listed in the FBI data. It's 28 other ones nobody ever talks about, but they single us out on robbery and murder. Yes, we do need to do better as black people as far as murder. We should not be killing each other that much. But if you look at all other crimes, every race kills each other the most. Every race kills each other the most. Somebody said it, and that's why I hate black feminists. They have the same arguing points as white races. Y'all, they say y'all kill black women the most. I said, it's just crime, though. It's just every black man doesn't kill everybody. There's more black men not killing people than black men that are. And that's for every crime. There are more men not doing rape, robbery, murder than people that are. So why do you pull that out and put it on us? Because we don't commit the most crime, and America has made black men like me the poster child of fucking crime, and we're not. I said that the middle, even stealing. It's a stat on shoplifting and stealing. The average shoplifter in thief is a middle-aged white woman.
Really?
Yes, that's a weird stat that I had to look up. And I said, so why do they think black people steal all the time? I said, why isn't that talk? But you never hear that. Nobody talks about that. They only talk about Chicago. And you know, I'm going to tell you something about Chicago right now. Mm-hmm. And I had to break this down to somebody else. Chicago, do people not realize Chicago is the third biggest city in America?
Yeah.
Of course it's a lot of murders. It's New York, LA, and Chicago. We have been the third biggest city in the fucking country since the beginning of time. Of course it's a lot of murders because it's a lot of people. It's 3 million people in Chicago. 3 million.
Yep.
So you're going to talk about the 400 that got murdered? It's really not bad. It's bad that they got murdered, but it's not a bad city. The propaganda around Chicago makes me so fucking mad. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's actually better now.
It is?
Yeah, it's better.
How? I mean, what? We hear the numbers coming out of Chicago, you know, in a weekend, dozens of people get shot now. Like,
yeah, well, that's because we didn't have Twitter and shit back in the 90s. When I was growing up in Chicago, we was doing 800, 900. New York used to do like 1,000 murders. 900. We was right there with them, 900, 800. And I said, why y'all never talk about New York or LA like that? Because they still have 500 murders some of them years. And I said, because it's big. People don't look at, I think the murders in Chicago outweigh how big the state is, but it's still a lot of people there. So of course the numbers are big. It's big. It's a big, Chicago is basically little New York. If you've been to Chicago before, if you go downtown in the north side, it's fucking New York, but smaller. It's like, it's a condensed New York. That's all it is. And it's not a bad, I'm not going to say it's not a bad city. It's some parts of Chicago, well, yeah, you can't go. But it's some parts of Chicago is fucking beautiful.
Sure.
Nothing happens in certain parts of Chicago. It's fucking beautiful. You can go down the street with your whole family in certain parts of Chicago. Chicago has one of the most affluent fucking neighborhoods in America. It's called the Gold Coast. Yep. If you've ever been to Chicago, the Gold Coast, nothing happens there. I think they had like 2 murders in the last 50 years.
Yeah. Like
nothing happens over there.
Right.
The north side of Chicago has no idea what's going on the south side of Chicago because it's so nice over there. So why do they only focus on the fucking south side and the east side? It's stupid to me. It's propaganda. It's stupid.
Yeah. You said something really interesting that I'd never heard before, and it's a fascinating theory, but it's more than a theory because you lived through it. So Chicago started tearing down its very famous projects. It's one thing Chicago's known for, its housing projects, about what, 25 years ago, something like that? And starting to, they tore down the big ones, and they started to move toward smaller, decentralized, I forget the low density buildings for people. And you said that had a major effect on the levels of violence in Chicago, which I never even thought about, but you want to explain that?
Yeah, and this is why people think I'm a sociologist. People think I'm a sociologist or I went to some big school or some shit. That's not what it is. I was there when it happened. People always talk about the violence in Chicago, but they never talk about what happened.
Yeah.
They started tearing down the projects around 2008, and then they ended around 2011. So now you have people displaced. Everybody is displaced now. It's no more just GDs over here and BDs and over there. It's everybody together now.
Oh, wow.
So you have successfully destroyed our fucking, like, our living spaces.
Wow.
So now you living around a corner from people who might have done something to you and that you want to do something back to. I lived around the corner from a dude who shot my mama's house. He didn't used to live over there. He used to live all the way on the north side. Wow. Now the dudes from the north side, the east side, and the west side, we all live together now. Mm-hmm. That's when you saw the numbers jack back up. And everybody always say, you're a sociologist. No, I'm not. Look at what they did to Chicago. Why did the government build those fucking projects and then tear them down? What was they trying to do? It looked like y'all wanted us to kill each other.
Mm-hmm. I would say, I was sorry, but I would say, like, my guess is it wasn't like intentionally trying to, it wasn't like an attempt at genocide or anything like that. I think that liberals in the 1950s and 60s thought it was great to build these giant projects for black people to give them housing that they thought was going to be better than what they had. Of course, it ended up being like giant prisons for a lot of people. But anyway, and then they changed their minds in the 2000s, as you were saying, and thought, oh, no, this is terrible. We can't warehouse people like this anymore. We got to give them more like what white people live in, like smaller places. But this meant scattering them. And I think they've actually used that term, like scattered housing projects. But I never thought that would do such a disruption. And you said dislocation is the word, right? The dislocation of people and the decentering of people and the scattering of people. So they end up having, as you said, like in a city with a lot of violence in it and gangs in it, right? Mixing the gangs together like that could produce a lot of violence. So your argument makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, the analogy I always use, because it's not this. I say displacement because it was basically a failed gentrification. The analogy I use is they stepped in an anthill.
Oh.
If you step in the anthill, guess what happens? Everybody goes to the safest place, or where they think is the safest place. Everybody's trying to find somewhere to go. Now you don't know where you at. You can take me for example. I'm a vice lord. I lived around the corner from GD's now. I didn't have to do that in the 90s. In the 90s, I was cool. Now in the 2000s, I don't know who lives in the house next door. That's where the violence comes in. You walk outside and you see some dudes who you never seen before. The violence jacks up. And I to be honest, I think they did do it on purpose. And this is why people think I'm a conspiracy theorist. If you didn't know it's right there, what did you do it for? Because I'm thinking it's gentrification.
Okay.
It wasn't gentrification. They didn't gentrify anything. Chicago is a hard place to gentrify. Yeah. They didn't gentrify it because nothing got built there, nothing got improved. They just tore it down and said, fuck it. What was y'all doing? That was my question. What was y'all doing?
Right.
I don't understand why they did it. You built it and then you tore it down. And then got mad at the violence. I'm like, well, everybody's somewhere else. Somebody like you don't know who you're gonna walk outside and see now. Like because before that, I knew where everybody was. Now I don't know where nobody is. That's like if somebody tear down this whole neighborhood right now, I have to find somewhere to go, right? If I wake up tomorrow and I have to look at a dude who I just got into it with, you displace me and now I'm into it with this dude and he lived right there. That's what happened in Chicago. It displaced us and we was all just trying to figure out what's going on. And we couldn't because motherfuckers just everywhere. Like the violence made sense to me. It made sense. It wasn't an accident. Like it wasn't random. I think that was a plan failed. It was a plan failed gentrification. That's what I say.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They were trying to gentrify it. And what they ended up doing was just creating a lot of disruption in people's lives, which resulted in a lot of violence. Speaking of violence, man, let me ask you this question. And you are, of course, under no obligation to answer it. You can tell me to shut the fuck up, actually, about this. And you might not even be able to answer this. So, okay, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have you ever killed anybody?
No, and I'm glad I haven't.
Me too.
I haven't ever killed anybody, and I'm glad I never did. That's actually a good question. Nobody ever asked me that. That's bold to ask that too, because that's a good question. But no, I've tried. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to kill people before.
Okay.
But I'm glad. I pray to God. Like I'm so happy I never ever did that because I'm not an evil dude. I never want to. Nobody should get murdered. And I think that's a lot of people are surprised to hear that from me because they look at me, I'm a street dude, big buff dude, you know, like I got the muscles and shit. They think I'm a big, tough killer and shit. I said, I'm actually a very nice dude. I don't want to see nobody murdered. I've seen a lot of people get murdered. It's the worst shit in the fucking world. It's to see somebody die. In Chicago, you see that a lot. You see people die on the sidewalk. Actually, Chicago, I think we have the most rappers who have been seeing famous people die is a different type of reality. Because like people get killed everywhere, not just Chicago. Everybody, it's every fucking city in the world. People get killed. But Chicago has a thing where our rappers die all the fucking time. We see them die on camera, especially in this new age. Rappers die on camera all the time. I haven't seen dudes die and people just standing around record. Nobody trying to help. Nobody trying to do anything. It's fascinating to them. And I'm so glad I never put nobody's family through that. I can never, I could never kill nobody because I would in a life or death situation. But I never tried to. I don't want to see nobody die, man. That shit is crazy, especially my people. Like anybody dying is getting killed is a different type of evil. Like killing somebody is a different type of evil. Like I've robbed people and all beat people up, but killing somebody is different.
Sure.
I can't do that.
Glad you have it.
Never, yeah, like because I'd be in jail if I did. But I never killed nobody, and
good.
I don't want to kill nobody. I never want to kill nobody.
Glad to hear it.
So,
thank you for answering. Thank you for answering that question. Thank you for taking the question. I know it was a weird one, but I really had to ask it. Let me finish this with a much happier set of questions. So I want to ask you about 3 black men you care a lot about. Okay. I want to talk about your son, who you've mentioned, and your 2 brothers. Okay. So how old is your son now?
4.
And tell me about him. What's his name?
His nickname, Duty.
Duty.
You want to see him? Come here, Duty. He's funny.
Make Duty famous. Right? Yeah. Tell me about him.
I think he's gonna be famous. Come here, Duty. But I think he he funny. He like me, but he was like, there you go, right there.
I see him. What's up, Duty?
He's funny. He's a taller version of me.
You look very smart. Are you smart? Like your dad?
Yeah.
I know. I could tell. Are you trying to get your dad's old hairstyle going? The high top? Is that what's happening there? Your dad used to rock a high top, right?
High top. How you ain't talking?
I know. Kids get all nervous and shy. Are you
in album intros?
Dude, I got a question for you, Duty. Do you like basketball?
Yes.
Because I know your dad does. Tell me this. You know LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, right?
Yes.
I'm getting really in trouble with your dad now.
That's what you said? Get my phone. LeBron better than Michael Jordan? You gotta get out now.
I know. That was I went too far with that one. Bye, Duty. All right. And then your brothers. You said they've had a very different life than you, right?
Yeah, that's why I try to break down what being from the hood is. A lot of people think everybody from the hood is like gangster murder killers and shit. Like everybody's not like that. Mm-hmm. My family has more regular people than street motherfuckers.
Right.
Everybody from the not a fucking murderer and killer and gangster. Like it's like I was the only one out of my mom has 3 kids. 66% of her kids went off and did shit that a mom would be proud of.
Like what?
I was the only one who went to the streets.
Okay.
What does that tell you about people from the hood? It's a more successful rate of normal people than fucking street people. It's not all bang, bang, shoot them up and do this shit. It's a lot of normal people in the hood.
Yep.
The only reason they're in the hood is because they're poor.
That's right.
Because it's a lot of it's white boys and that was poor in the hood. I had a white home. He was from the hood and he was like that. He was just a regular square dude. It's all types of fucking people that's from the hood. It's not just all black people who want to do stupid shit. It's regular people.
Mm-hmm.
It's regular people it's more normal people in the hood than street niggas.
Mm-hmm.
I fit that criteria for a street nigga, but it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not common, but it's not everybody. It's not everybody. I have 2 square brothers who went to college and did the exact opposite of what I chose to do.
Right.
I chose to sell dope and rob people. They didn't. And that's 2 of my mom kids out of 3.
That's right.
So to me, she did a good job.
Yeah. Well, you're doing all right too. You're doing all right now.
Oh yeah, I'm doing phenomenal. But I did it the hard way.
Right.
Yeah, I did it the hard way. I could have did what they did, but I did it the hard way.
Right.
And a lot of people don't see that. They don't see the normal people from the hood. I said it's a lot of people in the hood that's not with none of that shit. They don't care about none of that shit. They don't want. Like my brothers are. They never did none of this shit I did. None of it.
Cool. Yeah, it's fascinating, right? And yeah, people assume that everybody from someplace like the South Side is a criminal, basically, and a gangster, and violent, and dangerous.
Criminalized us.
What's that?
They criminalized us.
Of course, and pathologized you. They made you pathological.
Yeah, I get it because you have people like me who was doing shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I went to jail, I didn't sob story him. It wasn't a thing where I thought they was oppressing me. I was out there doing bullshit. Mm-hmm. So of course I got locked up. Mm-hmm. My brothers have never been to jail. I don't even think my brothers smoked weed before or smoked a cigarette or drank before. Like they are completely square. Like they have never did anything I ever did. Like they are the furthest from gangster that you can be.
Yeah.
You would probably like them, actually. They some nice dudes.
I like you too. Coulee, I gotta wrap this up. Yeah, I gotta wrap this up. But listen, man, I got one last thing to say to you. It's a request. I need you to make more music because I listened to 45 and I thought this is a kind of new school music that I can get behind. And I think you have a lot of talent. You know you do. And I know you've talked about how your music production has kind of slowed down, probably because of your son and your new life, but you have a lot of talent. I really would love to see more of your music out there because I think you could hit big at some point. Yeah,
I appreciate that, man. I think that's my only flaw. I'm a procrastinator.
Me too. It's all right.
I think it might be a Taurus trait because somebody told me I was a Taurus. Somebody asked me my sign and they said you're a Taurus. You procrastinate. I said that might be it because sometimes I don't feel. Some days I feel like doing music. Some days I don't. I do need to release more, and that's why I'm gonna do 2 albums this year before the year over. And I think I'm gonna just.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I should. I really need to.
Everybody listen to 45. His last album, and go on Twitter and tell him whether. Oh, and tell him your Twitter handle. It's Italian Fiesta, right?
Yeah, Italian Fiesta. ITILIAN Fiesta.
I asked Hotep Jesus what that was, and he was like, "Oh my God, man, you're too white. What's wrong with you?" And I said, "What is this? I never heard of this." I looked it up. Where does Italian Fiesta come from?
It's actually funny. It's a Chicago restaurant. Because everybody kept asking me, "Are you Italian?" I said, "Do I look fucking Italian to you?" I was like, "It's a Chicago restaurant that makes pizza."
Oh,
everybody that like restaurants and shit, like we always get into it with New York people about pizza.
Oh yeah, right.
So Italian Pizza is Chicago's restaurant for the best pizza. Gotcha. If you want some good pizza, go to Italian Fiesta or Nancy's for deep dish.
Okay.
That's Chicago pizza, and I stand by it, and y'all need to go eat it. It's good. Get some euros too. Euros are good in Chicago too. If
Good.
you're ever in downtown Chicago, just hit me up. I'll fly out there, go back to my city, and we can eat together.
Hell yeah. Would love to. That'll probably happen someday. Watch. We're gonna do an event in Chicago, I'm sure, someday. And I will definitely hit you up. In fact, I might even invite you to attend. So as a guest speaker.
Downtown Chicago is fucking beautiful.
I know. Chicago's a great city. Got a lot going on there. Hey man, listen, this has been amazing, revelatory, courageous, badass, and fun. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate I appreciate the fact, you know what, above all else, that you're a free thinker. That's it. That's why you're on the show.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Have me back anytime.
All right. Good. I like it. But no, I'll see you in Chicago most likely. So, all right, man, you have a great life, and give your boy a lot of love, and, keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Send me clips too.
What's that?
Send me clips too.
Clips, of course. We'll send you everything. All right, man. Peace. This is a reminder that our 4-part live webinar series called Talkin' Shit, The History of African American Culture, co-taught by Kamasi Hill and me, begins this Tuesday, November 3rd. You can go to renegadeuniversity.com/TS to sign up, or you can just click the link in the description below. We hope to see you there. It's going to be remarkable. Thanks. This is the Unregistered podcast, and I'm Thaddeus Russell. To join the new Renegade University, go to renegadeuniversity.com. To join the new Unregistered Underground, the supporting listeners group for the podcast, go to unregisteredunderground.com. Thanks for listening.